All right, we have some cruiserweight action coming at you today. Our matchup is Samuel, aka X-Man, against Brandon, aka School King. So let's look at X-Man first. X-Man is playing as Huckabee, Mike Huckabee. There are his bonuses. Has a big evangelical bonus. Let's see if X-Man uses that here early on. And School King playing as Bernie. Bernie has a 25% manufacturing, 20% labor, so national group opportunity there as well. And I am the snowman just observing and recording this matchup. X-Man is... Oh, let's get into this turn. Arizona entered by School King and Delaware. Meanwhile, X-Man goes into two national groups as School King enters a couple more states here. So School King entered Arizona, Maryland, Delaware, and New Hampshire. A little bit high tech there, a little bit town and gown maybe. We'll see how he plays this. I like the saving money there. But a big national group start here for X-Man. That could be a huge advantage as the game goes along. This might be a little more unconventional game. These players may not play exactly by the rule book. One of them, School King, Brandon, aka School King, he played only AI for years. He's just starting to play online, so he's learning what that looks like. And Samuel, aka X-Man, has been around for a while, but he has an unconventional play style as well. So it could be an interesting matchup today. That bonus that X-Man will get here, 45% in evangelical. And what was the other one he was in? Gun lobby. There's the evangelical bonus. How much does he get per turn? 54K there. In gun lobby, he will get another 31K. And just a 1 pip into Illinois there for Brandon. So two decent sized national group bonuses there, adding up to 85K. Meanwhile, Brandon building almost twice as much of a cash advantage right now against X-Man, saving that money up. We'll see if he can spend it wisely here. X-Man is 0-2, so this is his third game of the season. Meanwhile, for Brandon, aka School King, he is 0-4. This is game number 5. So both players, one person will walk out with their first win of the season. We'll see who takes advantage and gets that first state group. Not sure exactly yet which state group Brandon's going to go for first, but he gets Arizona to the third. Meanwhile, we're going into more national groups. Samuel's going into big conservative as well. He enters into his first state of Georgia as Brandon enters Michigan. Samuel in North Carolina, Brandon in Nevada and New Mexico. So it looks like Samuel is, well, he didn't set up quite enough to get Old South this next turn, but entering into 3 Old South and swing states, as well as AA states. A bigger spend there by School King. We'll see if he can enter into one of these bigger states. I think entering into New York would be smart here. Could get town and gown bonus pretty soon here. And could also start building toward a high-tech bonus and AA. We will see. This cruiserweight division has been fun. These players, again, like I said, experiencing online play against real people for the first time, some of them, learning the game, asking questions, playing practice games even after they played each other one time, learning the game. So it's been a fun group to be a part of, and seeing people getting better at the game. And I'm excited to see who can get their first win in this matchup. And we'll see with that quick 2-minute timer, these players ever miss a turn. One could be happening right here. Let's see if a turn was missed and who missed it. A turn was missed by Samuel, as there's that big California, a big state entrance there by School King. He 1 pips into California and is also going for a national group. Maybe seeing that Samuel is getting 3 national groups, wanting to try to balance that out, but that hurts for Samuel not getting that turn off in time. He's got big money saved now because of it, but I'm guessing he wish he would have at least got that big conservative up to the 4th pip to get that bonus here on this turn. Let's hope he can get that money in this turn. First big state move there, School King going into California. Let's look at high tech bonus. So yeah, he's got a path to high tech here with California, Michigan, Maryland, Delaware, and New Hampshire. Might need at least another state there to do that. Usually when I see the high tech bonus, people try to get it before they go into California to help them get it. We got our turns off there, big conservative to the 4th. How much more of a bonus does he get there? That's a big 65K. Meanwhile, X-Man enters into Florida. He gets Georgia to the 3rd, Illinois to the 3rd for School King, Michigan only to the 2nd, North Carolina to the 3rd for X-Man. Oregon entered by School King, Virginia to the 3rd, Vermont entered, and does not get women's movement to the 4th. So that move right there, if you can't get it to the 4th, either save that money or use it elsewhere, because it does not help anything on that turn. But I'm sure he will get it here next turn. And as he enters into some more states, let's see. I'm curious who's going to get that first state group here, because right now, X-Man can't get a state group yet. He would need another Old South state. Colorado entered in, Florida to the 3rd there by X-Man. Hawaii entered. So School King is entering into a bunch of states here. As Samuel goes into a couple big ones, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Wisconsin. There's the women's movement. And he's going into youth vote now as well. Here's another thing newer players do. There's a 37.5K bonus. This is something I had to learn early on too, is if you're going for national groups, you typically want to do it right away. Doing it late in the game can not always be beneficial. It's a long-term investment, but this game is playing out very differently than a normal game. No one is getting those state groups quite yet. Everyone's kind of avoiding each other. This is exactly how I played when I first started. I was just hoping no one would pressure my states and I could try to figure out a route to win outside of battling anybody. But very curious to see who gets the first state group here. X-Man has a real shot at it here. If he can get Wisconsin or Pennsylvania to the 3rd, he will get that swing state bonus. Let's see what happens as he enters into Alabama, getting ready for Old South. A pip there in D.C. Maine entered, 2 pips. New Hampshire to the 3rd. New York now entered by School King. As Pennsylvania not to the 3rd. Texas not to the 3rd yet either, just a pip ahead. Wisconsin gets to the 3rd, so that... And women's movement, so there's another thing that these players are still understanding here. if we look, if you're not familiar with the game, School King went up a pip there. He does not need to do that. Once you're at the 4th, you get the bonus. You do not get any additional bonus the further you go. That's something I thought maybe was a thing when I first started playing, was that you get an additional bonus, and as well as not getting anything extra, he does not have to worry about Samuel pressuring him because he has not entered yet. So, learning moments there. Hope to talk to these guys after the game and share some of those. As well as here too, School King pipped ahead in DC, does not need to do that. If you're at the 3rd, you have control of the state, and if no one has entered in the state, you do not need to spend any money. First state group goes to Samuel. Let's see if we can get another one. Alabama to the 3rd. Alaska, both players enter, but School King with the lead. Louisiana to the 3rd. Michigan to the 3rd for School King. Minnesota entered. North Dakota entered by X-Man, as well as Oklahoma. Pennsylvania to the 3rd. South Dakota entered. Texas to the 3rd. We're going to see some more bonuses. Ooh, we have our first swipe of the game. First swipe comes from School King as he swipes Wisconsin. I love it. And he gets to the 4th for $30K in youth vote bonus. A nice swipe there. Didn't even know he went into Wisconsin, but X-Man picking up those state bonuses. And Samuel, aka X-Man, has been in the lounge for a while. So though he has unconventional play style and he has more experience than School King, and you can see it as he's starting to pile up some state groups, picking up Old South and manufacturing. I remember as a new player, I would just focus on that EV count, and that might be the stage that School King is in right now of learning the game. Again, if you play AI, that's kind of all you have to worry about, because you don't have that kind of pressure and that racking up of state groups like you'll see when you play real people. And Samuel's got a 3-0 state group advantage as well as a national group advantage. And though Brandon has the EV lead right now, those bonuses, and once Samuel starts challenging some more, right now he is not challenged, but he might try to swipe back Wisconsin if he can get his turn off as we hit all zeros. Did someone miss their turn? No, they got it off. Arkansas entered by Samuel. Florida insurance, that is not needed there, but spent. Michigan pressured. Mississippi to the 2nd. North Dakota to the 3rd. Oklahoma to the 3rd for X-Man. South Carolina entered. South Dakota to the 3rd from X-Man as he enters Tennessee as well. Washington is entered by School King. Wisconsin, some insurance there, but nothing going. West Virginia and Wyoming looking for oil and gas is X-Man. And he gets it. So there's another state group picked up. No state groups yet for Brandon. Let's see. Yeah, and he's got California and New York, but he's not getting those state groups because you need to get to the 3rd pip. And he could get to the 3rd at least on one of them. Over 1 million now is Samuel. Those bonuses adding up. Big state group lead, 4-0, and a 3-2 national group lead. Though Brandon is in the early stages and has a lot to learn, I hope he sticks it out because I think he can learn it. And this game is most exciting when things start to click. You start figuring it out. You start being competitive against other real people, and you build a lot of momentum from there. So I hope he continues to stay in the cruiserweight division, stay in the league, and keep getting practice in these matchups. As we hit zeros again on turn 10. Did someone miss their turn this time? No. Oh, yes, Samuel missed his turn again. Colorado money spent there. Connecticut, DC, again, money spent. Hawaii to the third. Idaho entered. Massachusetts entered. Maine to the third. Nevada to the third. New Mexico passed the third to the fourth there. Rhode Island entered. South Carolina, pressure there in South Carolina. Utah entered, and pressure in Virginia as well, as he goes to the fourth in Vermont. So, this battle, you see someone who is more experienced, picking up more state groups, understanding how those state groups work. You have someone less experienced, not understanding how those state groups work. But what Brandon is doing well is he's getting those EVs. And if Samuel keeps missing turns, who knows how this game could end. Samuel, though, as you can see, 1.85 million to 493 there from Brandon. But if you look, Samuel has not challenged any of Brandon's states. Brandon has challenged a few: Michigan, Wisconsin, South Carolina, and Virginia now. So Brandon has the advantage there as far as wanting to challenge. Let's see if Samuel can get his turn off this time, if he starts to challenge as well. As the timer gets lower and lower here, they got the turn off. Almost a mil spent there by X-Man as he enters into Arizona, gets Arkansas to the third, enters into Colorado. Indiana entered to the second pip from X-Man. Same with Kentucky. Massachusetts to the third for School King as he defends in Michigan, nothing going. Mississippi to the third for X-Man. Nevada entered. New Hampshire entered by X-Man. New Mexico entered. We have a clash in Ohio. Both players spending 2 pips will go back to 0. Oregon to the third. Ooh, South Carolina. The attempted swipe blocked and locked by X-Man as he spends more money in Texas. Did not need to do that. No pressure yet, but he locks in Virginia. Attempted swipe, no good there in Virginia for School King as Samuel picks up the AA bonus for $85K. We had a $100,000 clash in Ohio. As now, again, Brandon has not picked up any bonuses yet. He could easily pick up High Tech and Latino and Export if he would get New York and California to that third pip. Right now, it's looking like X-Man could pick up his first win. And X-Man currently has the least amount of games played, so who knows what his record could end up being. He has to play the top 3 in the Cruiserweight division. I do not think he has played them yet. So the way he plays against those top 3 could determine those top 3 rankings. He still has a chance to climb the rankings after this win. Did he run out of time again? Let's see. No, he got the turn off. Nothing going in Arizona. There's some money spent in California, but to the second is School King, as we're seeing a bunch of pressure in states there from X-Man. Pressuring a bunch of School King states there as he just gets some insurance ahead on states that Brandon hasn't pressured yet. New York to the second as well for School King. So the EV count 268 to 239. Even though Samuel has a large cash advantage right now, he's letting School King hang in there by not challenging a lot of his states till this point. But on that turn, he entered into a lot. So now on this turn, as long as all the money can be spent, or as long as a turn can be made, Samuel could swipe a bunch of states here. I would like to see School King get to the third pip in California or New York, but he may not do that now that he's feeling pressure in a bunch of states. He might try to just defend. Another rule that took me a long time to learn, that I think these players are still learning, is that I thought the ballot was random for the longest time until I realized or found out by playing other people and other people teaching me that 100 electoral votes need to be completely locked in order to go to the ballot. So we only have 2 states right now, South Carolina and Virginia, a total of 22 EVs locked in. So we got a ways to go. As the clock hits zeros, did we miss a turn? Samuel did miss his turn. Can Brandon capitalize and get his first state group? He challenges in Kentucky. He gets Maryland to the third. Montana entered. He gets Ohio to the third. So I do not think, no, he did not enter into one of the big states. He gains 21 more EVs getting Ohio. No state groups gained yet, though. As now, because of multiple missed turns, Samuel is at 2.85 million. If he can get his turns off and start swiping, he has this game won easily. But that 2-minute timer is causing some trouble for the X-Man. Let's hope he gets a turn off here. Yes, in plenty of time. Spending some money in uncontested states as he challenges in California. Pressure there. Some more insurance in unchallenged states. Kentucky, a 1-pip swipe there for School King. As X-Man pressures into Maryland, pressures Minnesota, gets Nebraska to the third. Yes, Brandon gets New York to the third. I think he'll get his first state group as X-Man also pressures New York. Yes. School King gets Town and Gown, his first state group of the match here on turn 14, while X-Man picks up another one, 60K in agriculture. He's over 3 million now, is X-Man, and he's pressured into California and New York. But so far, he is only pressured. He hasn't really tried to go for a swipe. He could swipe with that money he has now. He could swipe nearly every single state that School King has. School King needs to go up in California here. He would get the Latino vote. He would get high tech. He would get export and balance out this state group disadvantage that he is facing right now. X-Man's almost got as much as me, the snowman, and I haven't spent my money the whole game. He's building up money that fast from these missed turns as we get to 10 seconds left. This could be one of the wildest wins if School King could pull this off because of a bunch of missed turns as we hit all zeros. Did we miss another turn? We did! California to the third, Connecticut to the third, Delaware, insurance, nothing going. Same with Hawaii, Idaho to the fourth. This is all School King because Samuel missed his turn again. New York, some insurance in Rhode Island entered. So now we are going to see School King pick up Latino for 75K, pick up high tech for 125, and pick up export for 37.5. Another missed turn there by Samuel. Meanwhile, he could just quickly, instead of overthinking it, could just swipe California and New York and pretty much have this game locked in. He could be multitasking right now. He is a college student. Could be trying to cram for an exam and play 270 at the same time because he was annoyed of everyone requesting a game from him in the chat. Who knows? But if School King can pull this off with not picking up a state group until turn 13 or 14, and with this cash advantage, it would be an absolutely wild win. Samuel gets a turnoff here. He only spends 530K though. As he pressures some more, there's a swipe for the X-Man as he swipes Illinois. Kentucky is locked in by Skull King. Massachusetts pressured by X-Man. Maryland nothing going. Maine pressured by X-Man. Minnesota to the third. Ooh, we have a clash in Missouri. 2 pips from each player. They'll go back to 0. Montana pressured by X-Man. Nevada, some insurance. New Jersey pressured by X-Man. Same with Oregon. He's pressuring every state. Rhode Island. Vermont. Washington, some insurance there. So, more pressure. He does get the first big swipe we've seen here from Samuel as he swipes Illinois. He is at 4.36 million to Skull King's 910. Skull King holding on to a slim EV advantage. Does X-Man try to use that insane amount of money to swipe New York or swipe California? I think he is pressured. Yes, he is pressured every single state. We might see a round of Swipe City. Or, well, we see, no, he does get the turnoff. As he locks in Alabama, uncontested there. He spent 3.03. He spent it as all. Let's see what he does here. He does not swipe California. California and Colorado held as he swipes Connecticut from Skull King. He spends big and locks in Florida. Did not need to do that. Needs to swipe California or New York. He's locking in his states. That is not the plan. That is not the plan. If you lock in your states without the EV lead, you're giving Skull King a chance to win this game as he locks in Mississippi. Montana insurance, he locks in North Carolina. New Jersey, there's a big swipe, and that will give him the lead. A swipe in New Jersey as he locks in Tennessee, and he spends more money to lock in Texas, uncontested. But we do not have a ballot because no one has gone to Missouri. But in this wild, wacky game, right now, Samuel takes back the lead, even though he just locks in all of his states and does not go for a ton of swipes. He gets a couple swipes, and he has a huge block in Illinois there. So we could easily go to the ballot. And if I'm Brandon, I know that even though I am at a disadvantage right now, I'm not out of it. Why? Because Samuel has missed a bunch of turns. He could miss a turn here. He could have, on that last turn, just sent himself to the ballot to give Skull King a chance. Both players get their turns off. California stays. Connecticut is locked in. Illinois, another swipe attempt is blocked, and it is locked by X-Man. Indiana, uncontested lock. He needs to be spending this money on swipes and not locking in uncontested states. He locks in Iowa. And Kansas. He needs to be swiping. Instead, he's just locking. Again, maybe not knowing the key to getting to a ballot, as Missouri is held by 1 pip there from Skull King. A huge hold in Missouri. New Jersey locked in as Samuel continues to lock in states, but not swiping to grow his lead. He could have a huge lead right now if he spent that money to swipe instead of locking in states that are uncontested. As he has locked in a large portion of the map now, I believe we are going to go to the ballot with only a 4 EV differential. We are. What a wild game. Somehow, this game is not over. If Samuel continues this trend of just locking in his own states and not swiping, Brandon could get a couple swipes here. Oh, you know what? You know what I'm realizing? Brandon's not challenged in those other states. Samuel does not need to swipe. He could lock in those remaining states and win with 271. That must have been his strategy here as he pressures. He spends in California, does not help. Colorado is locked in by School King, does not swipe Massachusetts, does not swipe Michigan, doesn't spend enough. I don't know if he missed that it was the ballot round, but I think he has just enough states locked in to win this one. As School King was not in enough states to challenge, as X-Man perfectly saved up just enough money to lock in exactly 271 EVs, knowing that he could win, not having to challenge if he could just lock in those 271 EVs. And that's exactly what he does. When I told you this game would be unconventional, I think it lived up to that hype. A crazy matchup here as Samuel, aka X-Man, playing as Mike Huckabee, squeaks out a win by avoiding going the swipe route, instead calculating how to get exactly the EVs he needed to win by locking them all up. Congratulations, X-Man, on your first win. He moves to 1-2 as School King moves to 0-5.